I love this dungeon, and so will you after I tell you the really important stuff that you'll come across during the trash and bosses. This is the UNDERROT. If you pull the maggot at the start of the dungeon, then make sure to CC it during the fetid breath cast. This is a huge and deadly frontal. Try to focus down the headhunters as they will target random people with barbed spears and occasionally throw a net on you. This can be very troublesome when trying to dodge the Blood Matron's savage cleave. The Devout Blood Priest will also try to cast Dark Reconstitution, full healing an ally, so make sure you interrupt this one, and if you can, the Gift of Cahoon. Choose the left or the right path depending on which one does not have the two matrons at the bottom, and when you get to the mask, interrupt it and stand away from friends when it targets you with the Dark Omen. On the boss, make a kick order to interrupt blood bolts. The boss will jump to a target and do a small AoE around her, just move away from her destination. She will also sometimes face a direction and push a small green puddle called Creeping Rot. This will go forward in a line, look where she's facing and sidestep it. Pretty simple, but she'll also summon a clone of herself which mimics all of her abilities. You want to focus this one down before you run out of kicks. For the next section of trash, you're only really limited by how much your group can handle with kicks and CCs. Make sure you interrupt the Disease Lasher's Decaying Mind. It's a 30-second stun if it goes through, but this can be cleansed or healed off. Bloodseeker's Screech also needs to be kicked, if not you'll be interrupted and take a ton of damage. These mobs will also fixate a player, so high DPS prio on these and make sure your healer is awake. Like before, CC the breath on the maggots and kite the blobs. You'll need to clear this whole room before you fight Cragmaw. When you do that, pull the boss over to the ribcage and face him towards it. It will cast an unavoidable tank frontal, so don't get caught by this. The DPS and the healer should stand at his side to bait his charge into the wall if you can. When he turns to cast it, just sidestep and immediately squash the bugs that he spawns or they'll turn into ads. When he casts Tantrum and runs around the room, your group will want to split up and squash as many bugs as you can. If any do manage to spawn, make sure the tank picks them up and AoE them down as fast as you can. But be warned, this can get out of hand quickly. Rinse and repeat before making your way to the third boss. The healer will want to dispel the Wicked Embrace, and everyone will want to kick the Wicked Frenzy from the Death Speaker mob. If you miss this one, it can also be soothed. On the Defilers, interrupt their channel most importantly, and move away from the totem, as it will kill anyone within 6 yards. You'll also come across some worms here. They have 2 casts which need to be kicked or stopped. Prio the Dark Echoes if you have to pick one. The third boss is all about keeping the mushrooms under control. The tank should face the frontal toward a mushroom stack, and non-tanks obviously don't stand in front of the boss, and he will cast 2 upheavals on DPS players. You will want to drop this near as many mushrooms as you can, so look for the biggest clump. You will get 2 shockwaves and 2 sets of upheavals each phase. You need to clear all the mushrooms during this before the festering harvest. So after the second set of swirlies, look around the room and soak any remaining mushrooms. Just take 1 to 2 stacks at a time. Everyone should help out here, as if they are left up when he explodes, it will apply the same stacks but to everyone, doing massive damage. Next, you'll face more of the same stuff and 1 new enemy, the Faceless Corruptors. These big guys will turn to someone at random and do a frontal in a line called Maddening Gaze. This will also fear you if you're hit, potentially running you into nearby worms. They also use Abyssal Reach, which will spawn small void tentacles which slam you if you're close. Just move away from these as soon as you see them spawn. You can actually watch the enemy's cast bar to see when they're spawning. On the last boss, the idea is to kite in a circle around the room. Bait the frontal into the wall, and then move the boss a bit ahead and reposition ready for the next frontal. You'll want to overlap the pools on the floor as much as you can. Stack up in the golden circle for a cheeky master spell, and the spores chasing you will usually die in 1 hit to passive AoE, but just keep an eye on them in case. There you go, easy and good dungeon, enjoy your loot and check out the next dungeon on screen now. If you're looking for something a little bit more in depth, I'll have some detailed masterclasses coming out soon with all that extra tips and tricks, so make sure to subscribe.